Ilara was never one for ordinary things. She preferred dusty attics to pristine living rooms and worn paperbacks to shiny gadgets. It was in her grandmother's attic that she found it, an ornately carved, leather-bound Kindle, far too old to be real. As her fingers brushed the cool surface, the screen flickered to life, bathing her face in an ethereal glow. Words swirled before her eyes, forming a swirling vortex of light. Intrigued and more than a little afraid, Ilara reached out, and in a heartbeat, she was gone. Ilara tumbled through a kaleidoscope of colors and sounds, landing with a soft thud on a bed of soft moss. Gone was the dusty attic. In its place stood a breathtaking sight, a boundless library, its shelves reaching for a sky filled with swirling constellations. Towering stacks held not just books but whispered stories, each spine pulsing with a life of its own. This was Storybrooke, the heart of all narratives, and Ilara, guided by the ancient Kindle, was its newest visitor. The library hummed with untold tales, each shelf a portal to a different world. Ilara, guided by intuition and the gentle pull of the Kindle, found herself stepping into her favorite stories. She sailed with fearless pirates on emerald seas, their laughter echoing across the waves. She rode alongside valiant knights, their armor gleaming under the golden sun, their steeds kicking up dust as they charged into epic battles. She even soared through starlit skies on the back of a magnificent dragon, its scales shimmering like 1,000 sunsets. In these living stories, Ilara was not just a spectator, she was a participant, her courage tested alongside courageous heroes, and her wit sharpened by encounters with cunning creatures. She learned the true meaning of friendship, sharing laughter and tears with companions forged in the fires of adventure. Through it all, the ancient Kindle pulsed warmly in her hand, a comforting reminder of the library that awaited her return, and the growing realization that her journey was far from over. One by one, the stories began to fade. The vibrant colors of Ilara's adventures bled away, leaving behind a dull, lifeless monochrome. The laughter of her companions turned to hushed whispers, their faces etched with worry. A darkness, cold and silent, was seeping into Storybrooke, draining the life out of every tale it touched. At the heart of the library, Ilara discovered the source of the darkness, a swirling vortex of shadows, consuming every word and image it touched. The air crackled with an ominous energy, chilling her to the bone. The Kindle, usually warm in her hand, grew cold, its light flickering with a desperate urgency. This was no ordinary threat, this was a battle for the very soul of stories, and Ilara knew she had to fight. Word of the encroaching darkness spread through the library like wildfire. From the pages of her favorite stories, heroes and creatures, once confined to their narratives, emerged ready to fight for their existence. A valiant knight, his armor dented but his spirit unbroken, swore an oath to protect Ilara. A cunning fox, her eyes gleaming with wisdom, offered her guidance and strategic advice. Even the fierce dragon, its scales now dulled by the encroaching darkness, vowed to unleash its fiery breath against the shadows. Together, this unlikely fellowship embarked on a perilous quest to gather the scattered fragments of lost tales. They ventured into the darkest corners of the library, facing down fearsome beasts and overcoming treacherous obstacles. Each recovered fragment brought a flicker of light back to Storybrooke, fueling their hope and strengthening their resolve. Ilara, inspired by the courage of her companions, discovered a strength within herself she never knew she possessed. With every challenge, Ilara felt a change within her. The stories weren't just tales she read anymore, they were a part of her, their magic thrumming in her veins. She wielded a sword with the precision of a seasoned warrior, her movements guided by the spirit of the valiant knight. Her words flowed with the cunning of the fox, outsmarting enemies and forging alliances. And when the situation demanded it, a fiery courage, as ancient and powerful as the dragon itself, ignited within her. Ilara realized that the power of the stories wasn't just in the reading, it was in the believing. It was in the way they sparked something within her, a wellspring of courage, imagination and strength she never knew she possessed. The ancient Kindle glowed brighter than ever, a beacon of hope against the encroaching darkness, reflecting the growing power within her. Section 6. For Ink and Imagination. The final battle took place in the heart of the library, where the vortex of shadows raged, threatening to consume Storybrooke entirely. The air crackled with tension as Ilara and her companions faced the embodiment of darkness. the knight charged with unwavering bravery, his sword a beacon of light against the shadows. The fox, her movements fluid and swift, outmaneuvered creatures of darkness with cunning and grace. The dragon soared through the air, its fiery breath pushing back the shadows, its roars shaking the very foundation of the library. Alara, drawing on the strength of the stories and her newfound powers, stood at the center of the maelstrom. She focused her will, her belief, and her very imagination into a single point of blinding light, pushing back the shadows with the combined force of every story ever told. The library held its breath, the very air thick with anticipation, as the fate of Storybrooke and indeed all stories hung in the balance. Section 7. The Unwritten Chapters. With a final surge of energy, Alara unleashed the power within her. A wave of pure light erupted from the Kindle, banishing the shadows and restoring Storybrooke to its former glory. Color flooded back into the library, the shelves once more groaning under the weight of countless tales. Laughter echoed through the stacks, and the air buzzed with the joy of 1,000 happy endings. The heroes who had fought alongside Alara returned to their stories, their forms fading into the pages until only their words remained. The ancient Kindle, its purpose fulfilled, grew quiet, its light dimming to a soft glow. Alara was left standing in the heart of the library, forever changed by her experience. Section 8. The Library's Legacy. Alara knew she couldn't stay in Storybrooke forever. With a heavy heart, she touched the ancient Kindle one last time and whispered her goodbyes. The library shimmered around her, and then she was back in her grandmother's attic, the Kindle cool and silent in her hand. The attic seemed brighter now, filled with the echoes of laughter and adventure. Alara knew she would never look at a book or a story the same way again. She carried the legacy of Storybrooke within her, a spark of magic that ignited her imagination and fueled her own storytelling. She understood that the library wasn't just a place, it was an idea, a testament to the power of words to transport, to transform, and to inspire. Section 9. Your story awaits. The ancient Kindle may have returned to slumber, but its magic lived on in Alara. She embraced the power of her own imagination, her pen dancing across the page, weaving new worlds and breathing life into characters all her own. She learned that the most incredible adventures weren't confined to the pages of books. They were waiting to be discovered in the everyday moments of life. Alara's journey taught her that every reader has the power to be a storyteller. Within each of us lies a wellspring of creativity, a universe of untold stories waiting to be shared. So go on, dear reader, pick up your pen, open your heart, and let your imagination soar. For the most extraordinary adventures are not found in libraries or Kindles, but in the unwritten chapters of your own unique story. Your story awaits.